hottubs.com.
So the springtime could almost be called theater season around here. A lot of plays are going to be hitting the stages in the weeks to come, and Dalton's Artistic Civic Theatre is no exception. You've got a 2-weekend run of a great musical called Urinetown, and we are so happy to have two of the stars of the show, Hayden Poe, Kinsley Stevens. So good to see you. Both of you are seniors, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In high school down in Dalton.
Yes, Dalton High School.
And now you're looking ahead to college. So before we talk about the musical, let's talk about your futures. Do you both want to pursue this?
Yes, ma'am, we do. We are both going to college for musical theater. I will be at Montevallo in Alabama.
And I'm between two schools up in New York right now, Pace University and Marymount Manhattan College.
Okay, so now let's get folks out there to the Artistic Civic Theatre to watch you perform.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of know a little bit about musical theater. I did it in high school, and I know it a lot, but I don't know this show. That doesn't happen to me very often, but I've heard about it. I've just never seen it. So tell us the tale.
Well, the show is very unique. It's set in a dystopian reality. You can tell me.
So I think the name can be really misleading. It's called Urinetown, and it is about pee, but it has really anti-capitalism themes. It's very political, and it has, it follows this guy named Bobby Strong, that's me, and he works for a urinal called UGC, and the owner of the urinal, his name is Caldwell Cladwell. He has a beautiful daughter named Hope, and Bobby meets Hope, and they fall in love, and she teaches him how to follow his heart, and his heart leads him to riot at the urinal, and so...
To write or to riot?
Riot, yes, riot. So basically, the water has dried up in this town, and it's now a privilege to pee, which is the character Pennywise sings a song called Privilege to Pee, and she basically explains to us how you have to pay to pee, and the government controls that. And so Bobby Strong's dad can't afford it one day, and they take Bobby Strong's dad off to Urinetown, and that really sets a fire in him, and so he riots, and the people pee for free.
And there's a whole story after that, but we'll save you the details for coming and watching the show. We don't want to spoil anything.
So is it funny?
It's
hilarious.
Very much a comedy. There's a lot of satire in it, so if you like shows like that.
Our director, Alan Bishop, he is, this is his directing debut at the ACT, and he's just fabulous, and he's got a knack for comedy, and his blocking is just so beautiful.
And the details, we really paid attention to those little moments that might not be funny necessarily in the script, but we add to them, which makes it really interesting.
How big is your cast?
I think it's 18.
Yeah, it's not a huge cast, not a huge ensemble. Most everybody in the show has a named character.
Okay.
So.
I have to come back to you about something.
Okay.
Okay, because we're just talking person to person. So you said something at the beginning, and I want you to maybe clarify it, because people could have heard it and thought, oh, wait. Because you said that this is an anti-capitalism musical. So do you mean that it's more like being philanthropic and thinking about your fellow man musical?
Yes, for sure. That's what Bobby fights for. He has a bunch of monologues.
I had to help you there, Hayden.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a bunch of monologues about fighting for his brothers and sisters around him. Kinsley said there are a lot of named characters, and they're classified as the poor, but they all have names. And Bobby kind of leads the poor, and he's the man. He's the man, and he gives their word, and he speaks for them.
So now I want to talk about the theater a little bit, because sometimes when y'all do shows, and I'm sure at Dalton High School, you probably have a pretty big theater.
Oh yeah.
Artistic Civic is smaller.
It is.
So that's got to be fun for you to perform on that stage, because you're really able to connect with that audience.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I've been doing shows there since I was 8 years old. I started out theater there, so throughout middle school, elementary school, and high school, I've been working there. I think it's really fun because you get to connect to your audience. A lot of times when you're on a large stage, you can't see anybody in the audience.
Right.
But when you're at that small theater, you can see the front row people, and you can kind of play to your audience. I think it makes it more enjoyable for the audience and me personally. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, it's I haven't been doing shows at the Artistic Civic Theatre for as long as Kinsley, but I've definitely enjoyed every single show I've been in. She's so right. We did a show 2 summers ago called Tuck Everlasting, and my character broke the fourth wall quite a bit, and so I got to talk to the audience, and the audience being right there in front of my face, and my character was kind of the villain, so I was laughing in people's face and scaring them, and that is so special. And like she said, we're so blessed at Dalton High School to have such a beautiful theater, and our Dalton public school system really helps us out, and but it's just a totally different vibe to be right there with the audience.
Okay, so back to Urinetown. It is not a new show. It hit Broadway, what, a decade ago? Something like that?
I think our director, he said he saw it back in 2000 with his wife. And
okay, so longer
really
than that.
And
so y'all were probably very familiar with the show before you even auditioned, were you?
Somewhat, yes. I think that I wasn't really focused. I didn't really know much about it. I'd heard of it, but I was like, that's kind of a weird title. I don't know if I really like that.
Yeah.
But when we started auditions, I started listening to it, and I was like, wow, this music's really good for a show about pee. Like, that's I was surprised.
Well, the reason I was asking you was because what is it like when you know a show as a listener or a viewer, and then you know one as an actor? Is it very different?
It is different. One of the things about being in a musical theater show is it's like we listen to these cast recordings and we hear all these choices that these actors are making, and they're so beautiful, but it's so important to us to get into a show and make different choices. And that's what's so beautiful about musical theater, is because everyone takes their own spin on what's going on in their character. And so one thing that we really try to work on is making our own choices and making our sound unique to what's going on Broadway.
Well, I would encourage you, when you go to see the show, I guess after the performance, people can kind of come up on stage and greet you.
Oh, yes.
So hold on to your playbill and get them to sign it, because their autographs could be worth a lot of money one day. So good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Break all the legs.
Thank
You've
you
got
so
2
much.
weekends to catch it. So March 14th is opening weekend.
Yes.
Then again, the weekend of March 22nd. Go to artisticcivictheatre.com, and that's RE, to get your tickets. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Little things, big things. Every day, people are making